My beloved child, something urgent is stirring in the unseen realm tonight, and Archangel Michael is stepping forward with a message that refuses to wait. His voice is firm, radiant, and filled with a holy intensity as he declares, "You have been given a lot of money. If you don't open this immediately before 11:11 p.m., you won't receive the money." And the moment these words echo through the spiritual atmosphere, something shifts around you. Something heavy, something divine, something time-sensitive, almost like a spiritual countdown that has already begun. Archangel Michael is revealing that a door of unexpected provision had been unlocked above your life. This is not ordinary money. This is not random luck. This is a signed inheritance, marked with your name, sealed with heavenly intention, and released after a long season of struggle, waiting, and silent endurance. Heaven saw the nights you cried without telling anyone. Heaven saw the days you pushed through fatigue, confusion, and fear. Heaven saw how many times you were tempted to give up but still kept moving forward. And heaven decided, now it is your turn to receive. But there is a catch, a spiritual requirement, a moment of obedience. There is a reason Archangel Michael is speaking with urgency. The window is not open forever. He says it clearly. Open it quickly or you will miss it. This is not a threat. It is a divine timing alert. Some blessings do not wait. Some breakthroughs require immediate response. Some heavenly deposits come with a spiritual time step. And this blessing, the money that has been released for you, carries the number 1111, a heavenly sign of divine alignment, sudden elevation, and accelerated manifestation. If you have been seeing 1111, 111, or repeating numbers recently, it was not coincidence. It was a signal, a whisper from the spiritual realm telling you that something was on its way. Something that had already been approved, something that had already been transferred. But the activation moment was waiting for you. Now listen carefully. Archangel Michael shows me a vision of a sealed envelope hovering in the spiritual realm. It is glowing with golden light, like something precious wrapped inside. This envelope represents money. Yes, but it also represents restoration. Restoration of finances, restoration of opportunities, restoration of confidence, restoration of the parts of you that hardship tried to break. You have been in a battle longer than you expected. You have survived things that people don't even know about. You have carried responsibilities without complaining. You have given generously even when you had little. Because of this, heaven says, your harvest season is overdue. Archangel Michael is not just bringing you a message. He is guarding the blessing itself. He is standing between you and the forces that tried to delay, sabotage, or steal what belongs to you. For too long, spiritual resistance stood between you and your financial breakthrough. But tonight that resistance is being shattered. He says, tell them this, the money released to them is not just provision. It is vindication. Someone doubted you. Someone underestimated you. Someone spoke against you. Someone believed you would stay stuck where you were. But heaven disagreed. Heaven always knew your story wasn't over. This blessing is about more than receiving money. It is about showing you that God never abandoned you. It is about reminding you that your prayers were not ignored. It is about proving that what you lost will return multiplied. There is a reason this message found you at this exact moment. There is a reason your spirit is reacting right now. There is a reason you feel something awakening inside you. Because the timing is divine. Because the blessing is real. Because the instructions are urgent. Before 11:11 p.m., there is a spiritual opening, a gate, a window of alignment, Heaven is asking you to respond, to open your heart, to open your awareness, to open your expectation, because once the window closes, the opportunity returns to the heavenly vault, waiting for another season. But Archangel Michael does not want you to wait for another season. He is fighting now for the blessing assigned now to be received now. And he whispers again, open it quickly or you will miss it. Your life is about to shift. Your finances are about to breathe again. Your struggles are about to loosen. Your spirit is about to rise. But first you must stay with this message. You must not break away from it. There is more he needs to reveal, details that will explain why this blessing comes now, why it carries urgency, and how to activate what has been released. The next revelation he is about to give will shock you even more because the true reason this money is coming is deeper than you think. My cherished soul, as Archangel Michael steps closer, his presence grows heavier, stronger, almost electric in the atmosphere around you. It feels as though the air itself is shifting, like something sacred is moving in your direction. He is not finished speaking, and he does not want you to misunderstand the seriousness of this moment. The blessing that has been declared over you is not just about money appearing in your life. It is about a chain of events that heaven has prepared, step by step, long before you ever knew this moment was coming. When Archangel Michael says you must open this before 11:11 p.m., he is alerting you to the precise alignment of your destiny that is unlocking right now. This is not a random hour. This is not a coincidence. This is spiritual precision. The number 1111 hath been appearing around you because heaven was trying to get your attention. It is the symbol of gates opening, paths aligning, and divine intervention being released. Tonight, that intervention is financial, but the purpose behind it is far greater. Archangel Michael shows me that this money is coming because certain areas of your life have been on hold for too long. You have dreams that have not moved forward because you simply didn't have the resources. You have plans that were delayed. You have responsibilities that weighed heavily on your heart. And you have desired freedom, not just for yourself, but for your loved ones too. There is a spiritual law operating right now. Heaven does not release abundance unless there is a purpose attached to it. And your purpose is awakening. You have been walking through a season where doors felt closed, opportunities felt blocked, and progress felt painfully slow. You were not doing anything wrong. You were being prepared. The world did not see the strength you developed behind the scenes, but heaven did. And now, that strength qualifies you for increase. Archangel Michael reveals that this financial release is connected to your obedience, your patience, and your unseen sacrifices. Do you remember the times you gave to others even when you yourself were struggling? Do you remember the moments when you supported people who later forgot your kindness? Do you remember how you prayed for breakthrough even when everything around you seemed impossible? Heaven remembers all of it. Not one moment was overlooked. Now, the blessing is returning like a wave, multiplied, overflowing, and designed to lift you out of the cycle you have been stuck in. But here is the mystery. The blessing can only reach you if your spirit is open to receive it. That is why Archangel Michael keeps saying, open it quickly. He is not referring to a physical envelope or a physical object. He is calling your spirit to open, respond, awaken before the divine window closes. It is like a spiritual vault that unlocks only for a short time. And the hour of 11:11 is the moment of complete alignment. He shows me another vision now. It is the image of a person standing before a great golden gate. The gate is not locked. It is slightly open. Light is pouring through the crack. But the person hesitates. They do not walk forward. They stand still, unsure, doubtful, afraid to believe something so good could be meant for them. Archangel Michael says this is the struggle of many souls. They pray for blessings but fear receiving them. They ask for miracles but shrink when heaven moves. They long for change but cling to old wounds. And so the gate remains slightly open but never fully walked through. Tonight, heaven is removing that hesitation from your spirit. Michael is clearing the path. He is cutting away doubt, fear, old beliefs, negative voices, and any spiritual interference that has tried to keep you from stepping into your blessing. You are not meant to stand outside the gate. You are meant to walk through it. This money that is coming will not slip through your fingers the way past opportunities did. This is protected provision. Archangel Michael is standing as guardian over it. No thief in the spirit can take it. No delay can block it. No negativity can cancel it. However, you must be spiritually awake when the moment arrives. That is why this message is calling to you with such force. There is something else he wants you to understand. This blessing is not only for your finances, it is also for your confidence. Somewhere along your journey, you forgot how powerful you truly are. You forgot what you carry. You forgot the authority resting on your life. Hard seasons can make a strong soul question their worth. But Archangel Michael says heaven is using this financial breakthrough to remind you of your value, your identity, and your divine assignment. Some people around you will be shocked by the change coming. They are used to seeing you struggle. They are used to seeing you work tirelessly without reward. They are used to seeing you push through life without support. But they are not prepared for the version of you that is rising now. They are not prepared for the elevation, the abundance, the shift in your energy, the restoration in your eyes, the strength in your voice. This financial blessing marks the beginning of a new chapter, not just in your bank account, but in your identity. Archangel Michael emphasizes that your next step is simply to stay aligned with this message. Stay open. Stay attentive. Stay connected. Do not allow fear or doubt to pull you away. You are closer to manifestation than you have ever been before. And heaven does not want you to miss this moment. Before this part closes, he asks that you help spread this message of hope, warning, and divine alignment to more souls who need it. If you feel this message speaking to you deeply, then make sure to like this video, share it so others can receive their breakthrough, comment your confirmation, and subscribe to this channel for more divine messages. When you engage, you help open doors for others too, and you keep yourself connected to the stream of prophetic revelation being released. My radiant soul, as Archangel Michael steps even closer, the atmosphere around you thickens with an unexplainable holiness. It is as if the room you are sitting in is no longer just a room, but a meeting place between the divine and the earthly. His wings expand with a light so bright it almost feels like dawn breaking inside your spirit. He speaks again, but this time his tone is deeper, slower, carrying a weight that shakes the very foundation of your understanding. He says, "You have been given a lot of money, but the reason behind it is far beyond your earthly needs." That sentence alone carries a mystery that heaven has been waiting to reveal to you. This is where the message becomes personal, intimate, and profoundly prophetic. Archangel Michael wants you to know that this blessing is not appearing out of nowhere. It is connected to a spiritual justice that has been overdue in your life. There were seasons where you experienced unfair setbacks, moments when you lost money unexpectedly, moments when people took advantage of your kindness, moments when circumstances drained your resources faster than you could replenish them. Heaven watched all of it, and heaven tapped river. Levy was forgotten. Nothing slipped through the divine ledger, and the time for repayment has come. But here is the hidden truth. The money being released to you is not simply financial compensation. It is a signal, a sign, a divine announcement that a new chapter has begun. This is heaven placing a marker in your story, declaring that your season of lack is ending. Michael shows me the image of a broken chain falling to the ground, and the sound it makes echoes with finality. This is the chain that represented financial struggle, instability, and cycles of lack. Tonight, the chain breaks, and its fall awakens your spirit into a new reality. He also reveals something astonishing. The financial blessing is connected to a shift in your spiritual identity. You have been living below your true spiritual authority without even realizing it. Pain dimmed your confidence. Failure tried to define you. Delays made you question yourself. But heaven has always known who you are. You were never meant to live small. You were never meant to shrink. You were never meant to carry a spirit of survival when you were born with a design for abundance. Archangel Michael says, this blessing is not coming because you asked for more. It is coming because heaven decided it is time for you to rise. That sentence carries authority, and your spirit can feel it. You are not stepping into a season. You are stepping into a calling. You are being elevated into the version of yourself that hardship tried to bury. He then reveals the deeper urgency behind the instruction. If you do not open this before 11:11 p.m., the alignment window will pass. This may sound mysterious, but in the spiritual realm, time is not measured the way humans measure it. There are moments when your spirit aligns perfectly with heaven's intention. These moments are rare, sacred, and extremely powerful. Missing them can delay blessings for months, sometimes years. Receiving them can accelerate your entire destiny. The 11:11 moment is one of those divine intersections. But here is the revelation many never hear. Opening this before 11:11 p.m. is not about opening a physical item. It is about opening your spirit to receive the release. It is about acknowledging the shift. It is about saying yes to what heaven has already approved. A closed spirit cannot receive an open blessing. That is why heaven is urging you, calling you, inviting you to spiritually open the gate before the alignment passes. Michael shows me another vision now. I see a spiritual vault, heavy, grand, ancient. It has been locked for a long time, not because you were unworthy, but because the timing was not ready. As your spirit awakens, the vault begins to open. Inside it is not just money. It is opportunity, favor, restoration, unexpected connections, business ideas, promotions, open pathways, removed obstacles, and a divine push into the life you have prayed for. The money is only the beginning. It is the forerunner of everything else that is coming. Your spirit may already feel the energy shifting around you. That sensation, that stirring, that sudden awareness. Those are signs that heaven is active right now. Your angels are moving. Your path is being cleared. Your blessing is unfolding. And your future is being rewritten. Archangel Michael is standing guard over every part of it. Before this part closes, he gives one more whisper, one more nudge, one more divine reminder. Hold on. You will want to see what unfolds next. This is not just encouragement. It is prophecy. What is coming next will open your eyes to why heaven moved so urgently tonight. Type I receive the mystery in the comments if this is speaking to your spirit. Blessing code 777 has just been released. As this revelation settles in your spirit, hear this next part with the same reverence. When messages like this reach souls around the world, lives shift, destinies open, and heaven's truth spreads like fire. If your heart felt the weight of Archangel Michael's warning tonight, then you already know this message is bigger than one moment. This is a movement of light, a call from heaven for more people to awaken before their divine window passes. I am inviting you now, not as a request, but as a divine prompting, to stand with this mission. When you pour into this work through Super Thanks membership, or the PayPal link in the description, your seed becomes a beam of heavenly light touching someone who desperately needs hope. I speak this over every giver. May your offering return as multiplied provision, open heavens, and divine protection over your finances. Step into this prophetic act with boldness. Move as one chosen by God. My awakened soul, as Archangel Michael continues to reveal the hidden layers of this urgent message, the spiritual atmosphere around you grows even more intense. It is as though the heavens themselves are leaning closer, listening, watching, waiting for the moment your spirit fully receives what has already been written with your name on it. Michael's presence now feels like a shield, massive, bright, unmovable, standing between you and every force that once attempted to limit, restrict, or delay your blessing. He speaks again, and this time the message digs deeper into the mystery behind why this wealth is coming now, and why the timing of 11/11 is so critical. He says, you are stepping into a season where heaven is not just giving you money, heaven is restoring everything that was stolen. This sentence strikes with power because restoration is not just about finances. It is about time you lost. It is about energy that was drained from you. It is about opportunities that slipped through your fingers because circumstances were stacked against you. Michael reveals that this blessing is heaven's response to spiritual theft. Moments people wronged you, moments life pushed you backward, moments darkness tried to silence your potential. But now, heaven is correcting the imbalance. The scales are being adjusted. What was taken from you is returning with increase. Michael shows me a vision of a golden scale tipping dramatically in your favor. On one side are your tears, your struggles, your hidden battles. On the other side is the blessing heaven is releasing. The blessing outweighs the suffering. It crushes it. It overpowers it. And it announces that your story is shifting permanently. Here is something else he reveals, something many people never understand about divine timing. Blessings are not random events. They are scheduled moments. Heaven operates on alignment. Some blessings cannot come early because your spirit was not ready to carry them. Some blessings cannot come late because opportunities connected to them would expire. This financial release is strategically landing at a moment where your spirit, your purpose, and your inner transformation have aligned perfectly. Michael says, this is the moment when your spirit is finally strong enough to hold what heaven is pouring into your hands. That means heaven was not withholding to punish you. Heaven was preparing you to receive without losing yourself. You needed to outgrow old patterns, old fears, old emotional wounds. You needed to heal from past betrayals so that your blessing would not be wasted on the wrong people with the wrong environment. Everything you walked through was shaping you for this one moment of divine release. Heaven does not invest in a prepared vessel. And now, you are prepared. Archangel Michael reveals another profound truth. The blessing attached to this message is not only meant to change your circumstances, it is meant to change your mindset. You have been conditioned by years of limitation. You learned to expect little. You learned to survive on what you had. You learned to be grateful for small victories while secretly longing for more. But heaven did not design you for survival. Heaven designed you for overflow. Heaven designed you for impact. Heaven designed you to move in abundance so that your presence blesses others without draining you. The money coming to you carries an assignment. It is meant to break generational patterns. It is meant to end cycles of lack that followed your family line. It is meant to position you in places you were previously excluded from. Michael says this blessing is not only for you, it is for the future that will come through you. That means your elevation will elevate others. Your breakthrough will break chains for those connected to you. Your abundance will water dry places in your lineage. Michael also exposes another spiritual truth that will resonate deeply with you. He says the enemy fought you so fiercely in finances because your financial breakthrough is tied to your destiny breakthrough. The moment your resources rise, your influence rises, your options rise, your freedom rises, your ability to obey divine assignments rises. The enemy knew that if he could restrict your finances, he could slow your purpose. But heaven has overturned that limitation tonight. That is why this message carries urgency. It is the final step before your breakthrough manifests. He then shows me a vision of your spirit standing in front of a massive golden door. Earlier, you saw the gate slightly open, but now the door is fully illuminated. Light is spilling from its edges like water bursting through cracks in a dam. And I hear Archangel Michael say, "This door is not opening. It is already open. You simply need to step through it." That means nothing is blocking you anymore. Nothing is withholding from you. Nothing is resisting your blessing. The only thing left is your spiritual readiness to walk into what has been prepared. And that is why heaven hath been urging you again and again not to delay. Opening this before 11:11 p.m. is symbolic of stepping through the door while the alignment is active. Once your spirit acknowledges the shift, the blessing has permission to manifest in the physical realm. Michael's presence becomes even more intense as he speaks his next words. You must not underestimate what is about to unfold. What is coming will change your financial trajectory for years to come. Your life is not just shifting for a moment. It is shifting for a future. The struggles you faced will not return. The instability you experienced will not repeat. The cycle has ended. The new has begun. Before this part closes, he whispers one final reminder, gentle but commanding. Stay with this message. What comes next will reveal the true magnitude of what heaven has assigned to you. It is not a warning. It is an invitation into deeper revelation. My chosen soul, as Archangel Michael continues to unveil the depths of this prophetic warning, his voice grows even more authoritative, as though heaven itself is speaking through him with a clarity you cannot ignore. You may feel a pressure in your chest, a warmth, a stirring, a sudden awareness rising inside you. That is your spirit responding to truth. That is your inner self awakening to what heaven already prepared long before this message found you. Michael is still standing guard, still clearing the atmosphere around you, still ensuring that every word being released reaches the part of your soul that has been waiting for breakthrough. He begins again with a revelation that strikes like lightning. He says, "The money that has been assigned to you is not coming from the place you expect." This is where the mystery deepens. Many blessings arrive from unexpected paths, from sources you would never imagine, from doors you did not even know existed. Heaven is not limited by human structures. Heaven is not bound by logic. When Michael says that this provision is coming from an unexpected realm, he means that heaven is riding the path of supply. You may think you know how your breakthrough will arrive, but heaven is orchestrating something beyond your imagination. He shows me the image of a river suddenly expanding, overflowing its banks, stretching wider than the landscape that contains it. This river represents your provision. It is not trickling. It is not dripping. It is overflowing. And the overflow is coming because your name hath been placed in a season of divine expansion. You survived a season of drought. You endured a season of limitation. But now, the river is rising because heaven has decided you have had enough of scarcity. Michael says, what is coming will chase you, not the other way around. You have spent years chasing opportunities, chasing stability, chasing solutions. But when heaven shifts the season, blessings begin chasing you. Favor finds you. Opportunities look for you. Provision seeks you out. The money assigned to you is not waiting for you to beg for it. It is moving toward you as part of a heavenly mandate. But he reveals a deeper layer now. This blessing hath been attempted to be delivered to you before. Several times, heaven tried to release financial increase, but something blocked it. Something interfered. Something disrupted the flow. Not because you did anything wrong, but because spiritual resistance surrounded your path. There were forces that feared what you would become if you ever gained stability. There were energies that tried to keep you in cycles of financial dependence. But tonight, Archangel Michael is not only delivering a message, he is breaking those old interferences permanently. The blessing that has been delayed is now unstoppable. He shows me an image of chains snapping one after another, each chain representing a year of financial warfare. For some, it had been 5 years. For some, 7. For others, more than a decade. But the moment these chains fall, light floods the space where darkness once hid. That is the light of restoration. That is the light of freedom. That is the light of your name being called in the heavenly courts for release. Michael continues, you have suffered long enough. The money is not coming to you as a reward. It is coming as a correction. Heaven is correcting things that went wrong in your life. Heaven is correcting injustices that were done to you. Heaven is correcting financial imbalance that has lasted too long. This money is not charity. It is divine justice. But again, Michael insists on the urgency. If they do not open this before 11:11 p.m., they will not receive the alignment. This is not about opening a physical object. This is about your spirit opening to the frequency of abundance. Every blessing has a spiritual frequency. When your spirit is aligned, you attract what is already yours. When your spirit is closed, blessings cannot enter, even if they are right at your door. Heaven is asking for alignment, nothing more. The moment your spirit says yes, the blessing begins to manifest. And this yes must be given before 11:11 p.m. because that is when heaven's gate of alignment reaches its maximum power. After that hour, the spiritual atmosphere shifts, and the blessing enters a waiting phase again. Heaven does not want you to wait. That is why this message is reaching you with such intensity. Michael now reveals another part of the mystery. This money is connected to a destiny shift that will impact the next 3 years of your life. It will create movement where there was stagnation. It will create clarity where there was confusion. It will create opportunities where there were closed doors. The next 3 years will not look like the last 3 years. In fact, they will look like a complete turnaround. He also warns that not everyone around you is ready to see you elevate. Some will question your sudden shift. Some will doubt. Some will even feel threatened. But heaven is not giving this blessing for the approval of others. Heaven is giving it because it is time for your story to rise. Michael's final message in this part carries deep authority. He says, what comes next will show you why the blessing had to be protected and why the enemy fought so hard to stop it. This next revelation will open your eyes even more to what heaven is orchestrating on your behalf. My rising soul, as Archangel Michael moves even closer in this unfolding revelation, the gravity of what he is preparing you for intensifies. His presence feels like a shield of burning light surrounding you, not only protecting you but preparing you for a shift so significant that your future self will look back at this moment and recognize it as the turning point. The urgency in his voice has not faded. In fact, it has grown stronger because the hour of alignment edges nearer, and the spiritual window tied to 11:11 carries weight that is shaping the direction of your destiny. Michael speaks again, and his words feel like a wave of truth sweeping through your entire being. He says, the financial blessing that has been released to you is not random. It is strategic. It is Dorgian. It is designed. Heaven does nothing without intention. You are not receiving this blessing because of chance. You are receiving it because heaven has mapped your path, seen your endurance, and recognized that the season ahead requires more than what you currently possess. You are stepping into a phase where new responsibilities, new opportunities, and new doors will demand new levels of provision. Heaven is giving you what you need before you even step into the chapters that require it. Michael continues, this money is connected to a divine upgrade. That word alone shifts something deep within your spirit. An upgrade means elevation. It means improvement. It means stepping out of the old version of yourself and stepping into a stronger, wiser, more capable expression of who you truly are. For too long, your potential had been boxed in by financial limitation. Not because you lacked ability, but because you lacked the resources to fully express what heaven placed inside you. The blessing coming to you is the key that will unlock dormant dreams. It will unlock ideas you pushed aside because you did not have the means to pursue them. It will unlock courage you never realized was waiting for the right moment to rise. This blessing is not just giving you money. It is giving you permission. Permission to expand. Permission to create. Permission to move forward without guilt, fear, or hesitation. Michael shows me a vision of you standing on a high cliff, looking over a vast landscape of opportunities. But until now, you were carrying a heavy weight that made it difficult for you to move. The weight was stress, financial pressure, unspoken worried subconscious fear. Once this blessing enters your life, that weight begins to lift. You will move more freely. You will breathe more freely. You will think more creatively. The heaviness on your spirit will finally break. Then Michael reveals something even more powerful. He says, this blessing is not answering yesterday's prayers. It is answering tomorrow's purpose. That means the magnitude of what is coming is connected to who you are becoming. Heaven is preparing you not only for financial ease, but for spiritual influence, emotional growth, and divine impact. You are going to step into circles you were not able to enter before. You will begin attracting opportunities you once thought were beyond your reach. This blessing is adjusting the frequency of your life, raising it, lifting it, lining it with abundance. Heaven is not elevating your life halfway. Heaven is elevating it fully. But Michael also gives a warning, not out of fear, but out of divine clarity. He says, when this blessing arrives, protect it. Not everyone deserves access to your breakthrough. Not everyone is meant to know the details of what heaven is doing. Some people celebrate you only when you struggle because your rising threatens their comfort. Some people claim to support you, but their spirit is not aligned with your elevation. Some people take from you but never pour back into your life. This time, you must guard what heaven gives you. You must remember, abundance attracts both destiny and distraction. And Archangel Michael is here to make sure you recognize the difference. Heaven is not releasing this blessing for you to lose it to the wrong environment. This breakthrough is meant to propel you, not drain you. That is why discernment will become one of your greatest gifts in this new season. As your finances rise, your standards must rise. Your boundaries must rise. Your awareness must rise. Michael says the window of alignment tied to 1111 is not only about receiving money, it is about receiving clarity. A clarity to know what to let go of. A clarity to know who truly stands with you. The clarity to know which opportunities are divine and which are distractions. Heaven is opening your eyes. As Michael speaks, The atmosphere vibrates with another layer of truth. He reveals that once this blessing arrives, momentum will follow. Momentum is heaven's way of accelerating your path. Things that took months will take weeks. Things that took years will take months. Things you never imagined would happen for you will open effortlessly, as though the universe itself has shifted in your favor. And then he adds something crucial, something you must hear with your full spirit. Before this alignment completes, you must stay connected to this message. Distraction is the enemy of destiny. This is the moment where heaven is shaping you, training you, focusing you. And when you stay connected to the revelation being released, you stay aligned to the blessing meant for you. Before this part closes, share this divine message so others can awaken. Like this video to support the mission of light. Comment what your spirit is receiving. Subscribe to remain part of this prophetic journey. Your engagement is not just support, it is participation in heaven's movement on earth. And Michael gives a gentle, powerful reminder to seal this moment. Before you scroll, this is where the revelation begins to intensify. My steadfast soul, as this prophetic journey deepens, Archangel Michael's presence becomes even more radiant, almost overwhelming in its intensity. It feels as though he is standing directly behind you, with his wings expanded wide, creating a barrier of divine light that nothing dark, nothing confusing, nothing discouraging can penetrate. You may feel warmth in your spirit, a soft vibration in your chest, or a sudden surge of clarity. These are signs that the spiritual realm is active around you and that the message unfolding now is meant to reach the deepest layers of your destiny. Michael speaks again, and his voice carries the echo of centuries, as though every word he utters has been preserved from the beginning of time, waiting for this moment to be delivered into your life. He says, "You have been walking through a season where everything felt slow, resistant, or blocked because heaven was removing the wrong foundations to build new ones. This means that the delays you experienced were not rejections, they were divine protections. The things that didn't work out, the people who walked away, the opportunities that slipped from your grasp, all form part of a larger correction that heaven was orchestrating. You were not being pushed backward. You were being positioned for something greater." Michael reveals that the blessing of money assigned to you is not only about finances. It is about establishing a new foundation in your life, one built on stability, purpose, divine alignment, and spiritual authority. Heaven is building on solid ground now, not on the fragile structures that once collapsed under pressure. Your new foundation will not shake. It will not crumble. It will not bend under storms. Heaven has decided that your life deserves firm footing. Michael continues with a revelation that might strike your heart deeply. He says, "You have carried burdens that were never yours to carry. You held responsibility for people who never held responsibility for you. You poured into situations that poured nothing back. And because of this, heaven is now rewarding you for the emotional, spiritual, and physical labor that no one acknowledged. Heaven saw the moments you gave with a pure heart, the moments you stayed strong for others while no one stayed strong for you. Heaven saw your quiet sacrifices, the ones that drained you, but also shaped you. Now heaven is repaying you. Its repayment comes in the form of financial blessing, but also in the form of emotional freedom. The weight you have been carrying is being lifted. The heaviness that attached itself to your spirit is dissolving. The constant worry, the pressure, the fear, and the uncertainty that seemed to shadow your steps are being broken off. This is not just a breakthrough. It is an emotional release that will change how you breathe, how you think, and how you rest. Michael shows me a vision of a single candle burning in a dark room. Suddenly, the room begins to fill with light, not because the candle changed, but because the walls around it expanded. This is symbolic of your spirit. For a long time, your inner space felt small, restricted, heavy, limited by circumstances. But now, heaven is expanding your capacity. Your spirit is widening. Your vision is increasing. Your hope is strengthening. Heaven is preparing you for more than you expected. Then Michael reveals something striking. He says, the money coming to you carries a divine instruction. That means the blessing is not random. It is purposeful. It is directional. Some of this financial increase will be used to shift your environment. Some will be used to move you into places that align with your destiny. Some will be used to break generational cycles. And some will be used to build what heaven has been whispering to your spirit for months, perhaps even years. Heaven never gives without intention. If heaven releases money, it is because your path requires it. Michael also exposes a spiritual truth that is rarely understood. He says that when heaven releases abundance, it often comes with a call to separate from things that drain you. Abundance does not thrive in toxic environments. Prosperity does not flourish among negative voices. Elevation does not blend with old patterns of fear or limitation. That is why heaven has been creating distance between you and certain people or situations. You may not have realized it, but those separations were part of your preparation. Heaven is clearing the space for your blessing. And now Michael speaks with sharper intensity, as though he is cutting through the final layers of resistance with his sword of truth. He says, this blessing is not coming to test you. It is coming to reveal you. When abundance enters your life, the real you rises. The confident you, the creative you, the spiritually awake you. The version of you that has been buried under responsibility and hardship is about to emerge, strong, capable, unshaken. Michael then brings your attention back to the divine timing. The instruction to open before 11:11 p.m. is not symbolic alone. It is energetic. At that hour, heaven aligns the spiritual frequencies that accelerate manifestation. You are not waiting for heaven to move. Heaven is waiting for your spirit to open, to rise, to say yes, to align with what has already been released. This moment may feel heavy, intense, or even overwhelming, but that is because your spirit is transitioning from scarcity to abundance, from delay to acceleration, from confusion to clarity. Transformation always carries weight before it carries freedom. Michael ends this part with a whisper filled with purpose. What comes next will reveal why heaven moved this urgently for you. There is another layer coming, deeper than before, sharper than before, more personal than before. My illuminated soul, as Archangel Michael continues to unfold this divine warning with extraordinary clarity, his presence becomes almost overwhelming in its authority. The atmosphere around you may feel heavier, warmer, or strangely peaceful, as though the spiritual realm itself is leaning closer to ensure you do not miss a single word. What is being revealed now is not just information, it is activation. It is transformation. It is the unveiling of why heaven has been moving with such urgency, why the financial blessing assigned to your life carries a divine deadline, and why Archangel Michael himself has stepped forward to oversee this moment. He speaks again, and his voice vibrates through your spirit like a current. You are being positioned for divine visibility. This statement may surprise you, but it carries a powerful truth. For a long time, you have lived in the shadows, unseen, unrecognized, overlooked by those who should have valued you. Heaven is now pulling you out of hidden places. Heaven is lifting you into spaces where your gifts, your ideas, your strength, and your purpose can no longer be ignored. The money assigned to you is part of this elevation process. Michael reveals that this financial release is not coming merely to comfort you. It is coming to announce you. Some breakthroughs speak, but this one declares, this blessing will shift how people see you. It will shift how you see yourself. It will shift how you move, think, and respond to the world. You are rising into visibility not because you forced it, but because heaven ordained it. When heaven decides it is your time, no earthly circumstance can delay it. Then he adds, your old identity cannot walk into your new season. This is why the pressure you felt recently has been so intense. You were shedding old versions of yourself, versions shaped by fear, lack, disappointment, and betrayal. These old versions were too small to fit through the door heaven is opening for you. They could not carry the blessing assigned to you. They could not hold the magnitude of what heaven intends to release. Your spirit had to expand, and expansion rarely feels comfortable. Michael shows me a vision of you stepping out of a dimly lit hallway into a bright, open space. The hallway represents your old season, narrow, restrictive, filled with emotional weight. The open space represents the abundance you are entering, wider, clearer, filled with opportunities that once felt out of reach. The transition between the two is what your spirit has been feeling lately. It is why your emotions have been shifting. It is why unexpected endings have occurred. Heaven was clearing your passageway. He then speaks of something profoundly important. The money coming to you will also reveal who truly stands with you. Wealth has a way of exposing motives, loyalties, and hidden intentions. Some people around you celebrated your struggles because your weakness made them comfortable. Others liked you better when you needed them. But when you rise, when your blessings increase, when your life shifts into alignment with abundance, their spirits will reveal themselves, either with loyalty or with jealousy. Heaven wants you prepared, not surprised. Michael continues, this blessing is not only financial, it is protective. Heaven is positioning you away from situations and individuals who would misuse your generosity or drain your energy. This is why doors closed. This is why certain connections faded. This is why your spirit no longer felt aligned with what once felt familiar. Heaven was not taking things away from you. Heaven was pulling you away from what could not remain in your elevation. He then reveals a layer that reaches deep into your destiny. The blessing assigned to you will activate a calling you have carried since before you were born. This is not simply about prosperity. This is about purpose awakening. There is something you are meant to build, create, release, or influence. Something that will touch lives. Something that will shift atmospheres. Something that will open pathways for others. You may not fully see the shape of it yet, but heaven does. And the financial blessing is part of the fuel for that calling. Michael also shows that this blessing is generational. It breaks patterns that traveled through your family line. Patterns of financial struggle. Patterns of instability. Patterns of scarcity. Patterns of starting over again and again. You were chosen to end these cycles. You were chosen to write the story. And heaven is empowering you to do it. Then, his tone becomes even stronger, carrying a sense of urgency that pierces through the unseen realm. The instruction to open before 11:11 p.m. is tied to divine alignment. If you open your spirit within that window, heaven moves instantly. If you hesitate, the alignment weakens, and manifestation slows. This is not punishment. It is spiritual law. Alignment accelerates destiny. Hesitation delays it. Heaven is urging you to step boldly into this moment. Michael ends with a revelation that sends ripples through the atmosphere. You are not stepping into a blessing. You are stepping into your appointed timeline. Everything is converging. Everything is aligning. Everything is shifting in your favor, even if you cannot yet see the full picture. And he whispers, "Prepare yourself, because what comes next will unfold the true purpose of this divine release." Type "I am chosen" in the comments if your spirit is receiving this. Blessing code 1122 is now activated. As this revelation pours into your spirit, let your heart hear the weight of what heaven is doing. When Archangel Michael speaks of divine visibility, it means your voice, your story, your calling are meant to reach far beyond your current space. This mission of releasing heaven's warnings and messages to thousands of souls grows only when people like you help carry the light forward. I am inviting you now, not as a request but as a divine prompting, to sow into this movement of truth. When you support through super thanks, channel membership, or the PayPal link in the description, your seed becomes rays of spiritual fire touching lives you may never meet but will eternally impact. As you give, may open heavens surround your finances, may divine oil pour over your purpose, and may unexpected doors swing wide before you. Step into this prophetic moment with courage. Move the way heaven is calling you to move. My awakened spirit bearer, as Archangel Michael moves deeper into this prophetic revelation, the atmosphere around you intensifies with a weight that feels almost sacred. It is as though the veil between the earthly realm and the heavenly realm is thinning, allowing you to feel, sense, and even breathe in the divine urgency tied to this message. Michael's presence stands tall behind you, his wings stretched wide, his sword glowing like a pillar of blue fire, not to intimidate you, but to reassure you that nothing forming against your destiny can endure the light he carries. He speaks again, slowly, with purpose, and every word feels like a lantern illuminating the unseen paths ahead of you. He says, "The reason this blessing has been released now is because your life is entering a divine crossroads." A crossroads is a sacred place in the spiritual realm. It is where choices shift timelines. It is where decisions carry weight. It is where your inner posture, your faith, your readiness, and your alignment determine what happens next. You are not at an ordinary moment in your life. You are standing at a point where the direction of the next stage of your destiny is being chosen, shaped, and sealed. Michael reveals that heaven is not simply giving you a financial breakthrough. Heaven is positioning you for a destiny shift that will affect the next decade of your life. The money is simply the gateway, the doorway, the sign, the confirmation that you are stepping out of your old timeline and into one that holds more abundance, more direction, more clarity, and more spiritual authority than you have ever carried before. He says, "You have passed a spiritual test you did not even know you were in." That revelation may shake you, but it is true. Over the past months, you were tested through delays, through disappointments, through unexpected endings, through emotional exhaustion, and even through moments where you felt abandoned. Yet you continued. You pushed forward. You kept believing, even when hope felt thin. You kept praying, even when answers felt distant. You kept surviving, even when your spirit felt weary. Heaven took notice, and now your endurance has qualified you for increase. This blessing is not random. It is earned through resilience, through spiritual maturity, through the quiet strength you carried in moments nobody saw. Michael continues, "The wealth being delivered to you is not ordinary wealth. It is transitional wealth. Transitional wealth is heaven's way of lifting you from one level of life into another. It is the kind of blessing that changes how you live, how you choose, and how you think. It is the kind of blessing that breaks cycles, destroys limitations, and pushes you into alignment with opportunities you once believed were impossible for someone like you. This is not temporary relief. This is repositioning. He shows me a vision of steps, wide, golden, illuminated. Each step represents elevation. The money coming to you is not the top of the staircase. It is the first step. Once you step onto it, momentum follows. More steps appear. More doors open. More pathways unfold. This is why heaven is sending this financial breakthrough so urgently. It is your entrance point into a higher path that has been waiting for your arrival. Michael then exposes a profound truth. When heaven elevates someone, opposition tries to rise as well. But what opposes your next chapter cannot overpower what heaven has ordained. This is why Michael himself stands guard in this message. Elevation attracts spiritual attention, both positive and negative. The forces that once whispered fear, distraction, or confusion into your life know they are losing influence over you. They recognize that once you receive this blessing, once you open yourself before the 11-11 alignment, your spirit will shift into a realm where their access disappears completely. This message is not just instruction. It is protection. Heaven does not want you stepping into your new season blindly. Heaven wants you prepared, spiritually anchored, emotionally aware, and mentally awakened. Michael reveals another deep truth, one you may have felt without understanding. The blessing coming to you will change who you are on the inside. Not your personality, but your posture. You will no longer walk with the heaviness of someone who has struggled silently for years. You will no longer think like someone who has lived through lack. You will no longer make decisions from fear, insecurity, or survival. This blessing is designed to heal you, to restore your sense of worth, to realign your confidence, to rebuild your inner architecture. You are being prepared to carry abundance with grace, with wisdom, with spiritual maturity. Michael now directs your attention back to the divine timing of 11-11. He says this window is not symbolic. It is vibrational. It is the hour when the gates align to accelerate what belongs to you. When your spirit opens within that window, you match the frequency of manifestation. You become a magnet to what heaven has already released. But if the window is missed, the flow slows, not because the blessing disappears, but because the alignment must restart. And then, with a tone filled with gravity, he says, the next revelation will show you the true purpose behind the money assigned to your life. This next layer is where everything becomes clear. Why the urgency exists, why the blessing is large, why the angels are involved, and why heaven is protecting this moment. Before this part closes, Michael gives one final nudge, gentle but powerful, to ensure you remain aligned as the message intensifies. Before you scroll, this next unfolding will reveal something you absolutely cannot afford to miss. My ascending soul, as Archangel Michael moves further into this divine unveiling, his presence radiates with a force that feels almost indescribable. It is as if the atmosphere itself bends around his words, carrying them straight into the deepest layers of your spirit. With each revelation, the urgency intensifies, not to frighten you, but to awaken you. Michael stands with a firmness that signals something monumental is nearing, a shift that will not simply influence your life for a moment, but will reshape the landscape of your destiny. He speaks now with a tone that carries divine finality. The money assigned to you carries purpose, and purpose always arrives with preparation. This means heaven is not just blessing you, heaven is positioning you. You are being prepared for something greater than a breakthrough. You are being prepared for impact. The financial release coming into your life is connected to a larger divine orchestration. It is not meant to sit, not meant to shrink, not meant to be hidden. It is meant to activate, accelerate, and awaken dormant paths inside you. Michael then reveals something remarkable. the blessing entering your life will unlock a series of events you have been unknowingly waiting for. That means the moment this blessing touches your hands, a chain reaction will begin. Blessings rarely travel alone. When heaven releases one, others follow behind it. Opportunities begin appearing. Connections begin forming. Hidden resources begin revealing themselves. You step into a current, a flow, a divine momentum, and once you are inside it, everything changes. He shows me a vision of a long corridor lined with doors. For years, many of these doors felt sealed shut. You knocked, you prayed, you attempted, and yet nothing opened. But with this blessing, door after door begins unlocking, not because of your effort, but because your spiritual status changes. You are stepping out of the identity of someone who was waiting and into the identity of someone who had been chosen. Michael says, this is why the enemy tried to silence your spirit before this moment. If the enemy could dim your hope, weaken your faith, or exhaust your spirit before your blessing arrived, he could dull the impact of your rising. But heaven intervened. Heaven shielded you. Heaven preserved your strength even when you felt you had nothing left. And now your resilience is being rewarded. He then moves into a deeper truth. The wealth coming to you is not meant to create comfort alone. It is meant to create expansion. Comfort is a blessing, but expansion is destiny. Comfort heals your wounds, but expansion fulfills your calling. Comfort restores your energy, but expansion releases your purpose. This blessing was never designed to make you small. It was designed to stretch you upward, outward, forward. Heaven is expanding your influence. Heaven is expanding your capacity. Heaven is expanding what you are able to build, do, and accomplish. Michael continues by addressing something many people fear without admitting it: responsibility. He says, do not fear responsibility. Heaven is sending provision because you are capable of carrying more than you once believed. You are stronger now. You are wiser now. You have survived things that changed your foundation. You have carried weight that would have broken others. You have risen through storms that were meant to bury you. And now heaven is trusting you with more because you have proven your spirit. He shows me another vision. It is you, stepping into a field of golden wheat. The field stretches miles beyond what you can see. The wheat represents harvest. Your harvest. Not a small one. Not a partial one. A full, overflowing, undeniable harvest. Michael says, this harvest hath been accumulating for years. Now it is ready to be released. Every prayer, every sacrifice, every act of kindness, every moment of endurance had been adding seed into this field. Now heaven is returning it multiplied. But he issues a gentle warning: do not shrink when your blessing arrives. Some people become small in moments of increase. They doubt themselves. They question whether they deserve it. They hide their victory to make others comfortable. Heaven does not want you to shrink. Heaven wants you to rise. Heaven wants you to embrace the blessing without guilt or hesitation. Michael's voice then shifts, becoming even more serious. You must protect your focus in this season. This is critical. When a blessing is released, distractions often rise. Negative voices may attempt to enter. Old patterns may try to return. Doubt may whisper. But you must guard your focus like treasure. Focus is the gatekeeper of manifestation. Where your focus goes, your blessing flows. Heaven needs your attention aligned with elevation, not with fear or noise. To keep your spirit connected to this divine alignment, Michael asks that you remain engaged, present, and spiritually awake. And one of the ways to stay connected in this digital realm is through your interaction. If this message is speaking to you deeply, Then like this video to anchor your agreement in the physical realm. Share it to ensure someone else receives the warning and blessing assigned to them. Comment what your spirit is feeling to strengthen your own resonance. And subscribe so these messages continue reaching you right when heaven needs them to. Your engagement is not routine. It is spiritual alignment. Michael closes this part with a final whisper, one that feels like an echo of destiny calling your name. You are on the edge of something extraordinary. Stay open. Stay awake. The next revelation will unveil the true responsibility heaven is placing in your hands. My advancing soul, as Archangel Michael steps forward once more, the entire spiritual atmosphere around you seems to shift into a deeper intensity. The air becomes richer, almost alive, vibrating with a frequency that pulls your attention inward. It is as though heaven is leaning close enough to breathe revelation directly into your spirit. Michael's presence stands tall behind you, unwavering, luminous, and filled with the authority of one who has watched over your path since the beginning. His voice carries the weight of destiny as he prepares to reveal a truth you have unknowingly been approaching through every moment of this unfolding message. He begins with a declaration that resonates like thunder across the unseen realm. The blessing that is approaching your life is not arriving to change your circumstances alone. It is arriving to change your narrative. These words settle over your spirit with the force of divine intent. You have lived with a certain story for years, a story shaped by survival, by resistance, by endurance, by loss, by heartbreak, by missed opportunities, by delays, and by battles that felt never-ending. Heaven is writing that story. You are not entering a better chapter of the old story. You are entering an entirely new book. Michael reveals that everything you have walked through, the pain, the setbacks, the waiting, the confusing seasons, the disappointments that made you feel forgotten, was not a sign of abandonment. It was preparation for a narrative shift so dramatic that the version of you who suffered will not resemble the version of you that is rising now. This financial blessing is the first outward sign of that shift. It is the visible expression of an invisible heavenly decision. Your time has come. He continues, you were not delayed because you were unworthy. You were delayed because the magnitude of your future required more strength than you had before. Heaven was building muscles in your spirit that you did not realize you were developing. Muscles of discernment, muscles of resilience, muscles of patience, muscles of clarity, muscles of faith that remain standing even when surrounded by storms. Now that strength is what qualifies you to receive what is coming. Michael shows me a vision of a seed buried deep in the earth. For a long time, it looks like nothing is happening. The soil remains unbroken. The surface remains unchanged. But deep below, roots form. Pressure increases. Growth begins in the dark long before it ever reaches the light. You are that seed. Even pressed. Veggie. But all the while, growing toward a moment heaven planned long before you understood its purpose. Then Michael reveals something that shakes the inner walls of your spirit. This blessing is not simply for increase. It is for a positioning. Heaven is not giving you money so that you can remain where you have been. Heaven is giving you money to move you into environments where your potential can flourish. There are places you were meant to go but could not reach because resources were lacking. There are decisions you needed to make but could not take action on because the means were not available. Heaven is removing that limitation. You are being repositioned for influence, for visibility, for opportunity, for expansion. This blessing is the key that unlocks the next space heaven intends for you to occupy. Michael then reveals another profound truth. The blessing being released hath been guarded fiercely because your destiny is tied to it. Some breakthroughs come without resistance. This is not one of them. The attack on your finances, your confidence, your hope, and your spirit was not random. The enemy recognized what this blessing would activate in you, how dangerous a fully awakened version of you would become to darkness. If he could weaken your belief, exhaust your spirit, or discourage your heart, he could delay your destiny. But heaven intervened. You survived what was designed to stop you. You endured what was meant to break you. You rose from battles that others never knew you were fighting. And now Archangel Michael stands as the guardian of the blessing that survived the storm with you. He continues, your spirit must take its rightful position before the blessing reaches your hands. This moment is not about waiting for heaven to move. Heaven has already moved. This is about ensuring that when the blessing arrives, you do not shrink, doubt, or question it. You must be aligned with the version of yourself who can carry wealth responsibly. The version who believes they are chosen. The version who recognizes their authority. The version who understands that heaven does not give at random. It gives with divine intention. Michael then reveals that your life is about to experience what he calls the ripple effect of destiny. This means a single breakthrough will begin unlocking multiple breakthroughs. A single blessing will begin shifting multiple areas of your life. A single moment of provision will begin dissolving emotional, mental, and spiritual burdens you have carried for years. Your financial blessing is the first ripple. What follows will feel like acceleration, alignment, and supernatural ease. He says, what you once struggled to achieve will begin flowing toward you. That is the sign that you have stepped into your aligned timeline. Opportunities will seek you. People who once overlooked you will recognize your value. Resources will appear. Doors will open. Your spirit will feel guided, not lost. Everything will begin to make sense, and you will look back on your past pain with understanding rather than confusion. And then Michael's voice softens, not in weakness but in divine compassion. Prepare your spirit, he says. The next revelation will unveil the true weight of the responsibility heaven is placing in your hands through this blessing. This is where your destiny begins to expand beyond yourself. My destined soul, as Archangel Michael steps forward for this final unveiling, the atmosphere surrounding you becomes charged with a kind of heavenly electricity that cannot be mistaken. It is the feeling that something sacred is reaching its culmination. Something long-awaited is crossing the threshold from the unseen into the seen. Michael's presence stands in full stature behind you now, not as a distant guardian, but as a commander delivering the final instruction, the final activation, the final transformation that this message has been preparing you for. His voice carries no hesitation, no softness, no uncertainty, only authority, clarity, and divine truth. He begins with a revelation so profound that it settles into the deepest parts of your spirit. This blessing is not simply provision. It is a mantle. A mantle is more than money. A mantle is a spiritual responsibility, a divine assignment, a calling that brings both elevation and accountability. Heaven is not giving you wealth so that you may only enjoy it. Heaven is giving you wealth because you have reached a spiritual maturity where you can carry what others would mishandle, misuse, or misdirect. This financial blessing is being placed into your life because heaven knows you can steward it with wisdom, purpose, and purity. Michael continues, the wealth coming to you has generational implications. This is not a momentary shift. This is not a temporary rise. This blessing is designed to alter the spiritual DNA of your bloodline. Where lack once lived in abundance will now dwell. Where financial struggle was once the norm, financial strength will now become standard. Where generations before you may have fought silently, broken under the weight of not having enough, heaven has chosen you as the one who ends that story. You are not only receiving money, You are receiving restoration for those who came before you and empowerment for those who will come after you. He reveals another truth. The blessing was delayed because the version of you who first asked for it was not yet ready to carry it. This is not a judgment. It is a revelation of growth. The person you were years ago was still healing, still discovering their worth, still fighting battles of self-doubt and spiritual confusion. But the person you have become, the person who survived seasons that could have broken them, the person who learned to remain standing in storms, the person who kept faith when logic said to quit, that person is ready. Heaven waited for you to rise into your true spiritual stature so that the blessing would not be lost, misused, or handed to the undeserving. Michael then shows me a vision of your spirit standing in a radiant circle of light. This circle represents covenant alignment. It represents a moment where heaven and earth meet for the purpose of sealing something permanent in your life. The instruction to open before 11:11 p.m. is tied directly to this covenant. Michael explains, the alignment at 11:11 is the hour where your spirit is most receptive to the mantle being placed upon you. Money may bless your hands, but the mantle blesses your future. If your spirit opens within the alignment window, the mantle lands fully, without resistance. If your spirit hesitates, the mantle waits for another moment. He then adds this mantle carries influence. Influence not in a worldly sense, but in a spiritual sense. Your voice will carry more weight. Your intuition will sharpen. Your ability to perceive truth will intensify. Your presence will begin to shift atmospheres. People around you will sense the elevation in your energy, even if they do not understand it. This mantle will make you a carrier of breakthrough, not just for yourself, but for others. When you rise, those connected to you rise. When you step into abundance, those aligned with your journey will find themselves lifted as well. Heaven is making you a conduit, not a container. Michael reveals something even deeper, something that resonates like a key unlocking an ancient door within your spirit. He says, this blessing is heaven's affirmation that you are entering your ordained timeline. Your life is no longer moving according to earthly limitations, delays, or distortions. You are stepping into the timeline heaven originally designed for you before life's battles altered your pace. Expect acceleration. Expect alignment. Expect synchronized events that feel orchestrated from above, because they will be. Then Michael gives a final revelation that completes the entire message. The blessing coming to you is not the miracle. You are the miracle. The money is just the beginning. The transformation, the awakening, the elevation occurring within you, that is the true miracle heaven has orchestrated. You are becoming the person your destiny always required. You are stepping into your power. You are rising into your calling. You are aligning with the highest version of your spirit. And as this final truth settles into your being, Archangel Michael spreads his wings fully, surrounding you with a field of divine protection. Walk boldly, he commands. For what has been released to you is sealed by heaven. Type I step into my destiny in the comments if your spirit feels this sealing. Blessing code 1444 is now released over you. As this final revelation takes root in your spirit, hear this last invitation with the same depth and seriousness that heaven placed into the mantle now resting upon you. When Archangel Michael declares that a destiny-shifting blessing is arriving, it means the mission attached to this channel, to these messages, and to this divine calling must continue to reach souls who are standing at their own crossroads. I am inviting you now, not as a suggestion, but as a divine summons, to stand with this mission of spreading heaven's warnings and breakthroughs. When you support through super thanks, through membership, or through the PayPal link in the description, you sow into the very river that carries prophetic light to thousands. Heaven sees every seed, and heaven multiplies every act of obedience. As you give, may rivers of abundance open over your household. May the oil of acceleration pour over your path, and may your destiny unfold without hindrance. Step into this sacred act boldly. Move as one chosen to uplift the world